Salvete Spectatores, it's Milian with another battle replay between the Saxons and the Franks. I picked the Saxons this time. It's an infantry heavy faction, though it has some sweet cavalry options, namely those Saxon lancers, combined with northern Germanic horse lords, something like that. And it's the same map as before, my first battle. It's the Pyrenees, I believe. And let's cover the armies real quick. I have one Nordic mounted raider that will go immediately for those Germanic archers. I have no idea why my opponent put them there, like, completely isolated, and he doesn't even try to connect to his army. So I'm just gonna go for them. I have cavalry on each flank, one Saxon lancer, oh, two Saxon lancers, 3, 4, also 2 Saxon lancers on each flank. My infantry contingent is backed up by 2 Nordic horse lords. A lot of people try to go for a initial charge on your infantry and own cavalry in the second line of your infantry can prevent that from happening. And now here my opponent still doesn't charge, run away. So I get a clean charge with my super cheap... Well, I wasted a... Wow, killed 23 men with 1 missile volley. So I'm going to kill this unit without any losses, I believe. That's a huge mistake on my opponent's part, and those Germanic archers... Yeah, well, they are cheap, but it's unnecessary. My infantry consists of elite Nordic spearmen on the flanks, 1 each. They should help the cavalry in a prolonged engagement, and my opponent commits another mistake. He goes with 2 Sacra Francisca with 1 silver chevron after 1 Nordic mounted raiders. They are not able to catch him at all, and well, I try to bait him and he will eventually follow those raiders, so that's unnecessary. They're needed in a main engagement here, either for charging infantry or engaging cavalry, though they prefer infantry. So now I'm baiting them, and once again he'll pull them off and charge after my Nordic mounted raiders. Completely useless. And I see that, of course. I want an engagement without those Sacra Francisca in the mix, so I just engage. My opponent has bows, I don't. It's a complete rush build. My main line is elite Nordic warriors mixed with normal Nordic warriors, backed up by the spearmen and also on the flanks. So now I want to keep them away from the battlefield, and I bait them, losing mounted raiders in the process, but that's okay. So I'm engaging here. He comes on with 1 Sacra Francisca, but I was able to pull the other one completely off the battlefield. And here comes my charge. The axes are hurling. That's painful, actually. Wow, they get completely put down by those axes. Look at the ground. This is painful. I don't want to get a fax in the ace. An axe in the face, I meant. And I'm putting just all of my troops available on this 1 Sacra Francisca. I don't want it to get any charge whatsoever. Gang spanking right off the bat. And those elite Nordic spearmen should deal with them. Nordic horse lords ready for a charge. I'm a little bit poor on my micromanagement as always, but that's okay. My opponent makes mistakes. He pulls through with Francisca Herban, and my first line of infantry broke instantly, nearly, because of all these thrown Franciscas. But I have both flanks under control, and especially the right flank I'm overwhelming conveniently. I have problems bringing my look at those, man, bringing my rear charges in, which I desperately need to do. And those Sacra Franciscas still, wow, standing just still. I managed even to kill one of those. That's interesting. And now I'm preparing my Saxon Lancers for recharges, who should be incoming any minute now, any second now. Here they go. Some sweet stuff. They are exhausted, I believe, so the recharge isn't too painful. Oh, they're only very tired. And although he kinda broke through on the main line, I was able to prevent it by these elite Nordic spearmen. I control the flanks, and this is the most important thing. Look at those Sacra Francisca managed to kill my Saxon lances, though they eventually will come back. Now they're wavering, that's good. And they rallied, and they will rally too, I believe. They're 26 still. And they hold out a long time due to their massive health and armor. Though by no means the highest armor and health in the game. And just continuing rear charges are the most important factor in the game as of now. Who gets the better rear charges gets the kills, gets the win. Though not very impressive rear charge here, they're routing. And infantry is helpless in the face of rear charge. Wow. Those must have been the poorest rear charges I've ever seen. Well, finally my opponent pulls his Sacra Francisca back, but I believe it's too late at this point. He can't... Well, if you look at the units left, he has some decent options, but he has no mobility left. And I can just continue to rear charge his Royal Anstrutiones, otherwise superior, into oblivion. Ganging up on Germanic nobles who are not a very strong unit, just good at holding, kind of. And those Francisca Hairbahn did the job with the throwing, like Francisca throwing, but in a melee they lose 2 swords, they lose 2 horses. I don't think they're a very good unit, like all the Axis units. And here I try to prevent the Sacra Francisca from participating in the fight, which would have the potential to turn this whole stuff here around. And now you can see I'm getting the upper hand with continuous rear charges. Like here, this one's devastating into the enemy channel. Look at that. They're getting knocked to the ground, they're getting killed. Let's have some... Yeah, they're surrounded, they were... Nice. Aren't they routing already? Now they're out. So the general is down, and this is GG for my opponent. There's 1 Francisca Hairbahn left, though I have cavalry everywhere in the field. And the last unit to break is this forlorn Sacra Francisca. So I did some mistakes, my opponent did some mistakes, but I had definitely the cavalry advantage, although I was Saxons. My opponent made the mistake to bring only 2 Sacra Francisca. That's definitely too little. And if you look at his spear availability, he has 2 spears and 2 cav. That's nowhere near enough against my 7 cav, like, and 4 spears. You see, I came prepared for a massive spear, massive cavalry contingents on the Franks side. And this is what you will see normally. So I believe this one's a rather new player and... not noob, new player. And with these words, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next battle.